Okay, so so today's session we are going to discuss about okay. So we are going to discuss about information, how to see information. Okay, so information on data. Okay, so basically it's something like what information can you retrieve, what info does a data frame provides. Okay, and we can also try to do some querying also. Okay, so querying, like if we have time, I'll introduce to querying as well. Okay, so formulate different questions. Okay, in in the data frames, and we'll try to solve um, we'll try to like introduce to how to query the syntax. Okay, so how to write the syntax for query. Okay, syntax for querying the data. Okay, so we'll try to do these things today. Okay, so today let's take the yesterday's data frame itself that we have created. So remember, yesterday we have created students.csv in the last class, right? So we will take that CSV file only and we'll try to create. Okay, so first of all, let's import our packages, required packages, pandas as pd, and import numpy as np. Okay, I'll also import os. If required, we'll use os, otherwise no need. Okay, yep. So we have imported pandas and numpy and os packages, and later if required any other packages, we'll use those. Okay, so let's load the data set, this students.csv. Okay, this file, let's load it. Okay, so read the data frame students.csv. Okay, so for that I will name it as students data. Okay, so pd dot read csv, so we know it is in sample files folder and it is named as students.csv, right? So execute it, and now students data is this, right? So yesterday we have loaded this data. Okay, now, so information about the data set. As I have told you, we are going to see what information can be retrieved from the data frame. Okay, so first of all, the initial like when we discussed in the initial classes, one thing we have discussed, one like predefined function which is called type function. Okay, so you can check the type of it first. Okay, students data. So it says it is pandas core frame dot data frame. This is the method, or this is the object type or the data type that it is defined as. Okay, in the background. So this is a data frame basically. Okay, this is a data frame that we have created. So by using the type, we can check what it is. Okay, what is the variable representing. So coming to the normal case, the other function length, students data, length of students data. So it is saying 7. 7 is basically representing the number of records. Okay, number of rows or number of records. So it is mentioning here there are 7. Okay, 7 records. Or there is one more thing that you can do. Students data dot sheet. Okay, So we have seen the shape method in NumPy. Okay, so to check the shape of the array, NumPy array, we have used this dot shape. Okay, dot shape. So here it is representing 7 comma 7, which is 7 rows and 7 columns. Okay, 7 rows and 7 columns. But there is no reshape kind of thing. Okay, there won't be any reshape like in NumPy arrays. We cannot do the reshape. Okay, so we can do that like transpose kind of thing, but we cannot do the reshape. Transpose in the sense we can convert rows into columns and columns into rows. That we can do, but we cannot reshape it into different values. Okay, so that's that we can do, that we cannot do. Okay, yeah. So this information we have read it. So we have checked the type of the data frame, we have checked the length of the data frame, and shape of the data frame, right? And so these are all something which tells about what kind it is and how much data is there and all. But so coming up, we are going to see students data dot info. So when you type this dot info, so info is a function or a method that is present in the data frame. For every data frame, you have this function. Okay, and clearly it says it is a data frame object. Okay, the type it is showing it clearly here, data frame object, and then it has the index ranging from 0 to 6. You can see the index values 0 and ending with 6. Okay, it is clearly mentioning that. And data columns, there are total 7 columns, and here you can see the column names: roll number, first name, last name, Python, statistics, machine learning, deep learning. Okay, and here you can see non-null count, how many number of records have null values in the sense empty values. Okay, if at all there is one null value also, for example in roll number column. Okay, for example one of the record doesn't have any value, one of the record is empty. Okay, so it will show 6 non-null values. Okay, that means there are 6 values, 6 records have values in it. Okay, if at all there is no value, then it will show there is a null value set. And then you can see the data types present for each and every column. Okay, so roll number column has a data type of integer. First name has the data type as object. Okay, object in the sense strings. Okay, this particular column has strings. Okay, this particular column has strings as a data type. Object represents strings only. And similarly last name also object data type. And remaining columns you can see it is integer data type, int. Okay, so at the end you can see the information data types. There are 5 integer columns and 2 object kind of columns. Okay, 5 integer columns and 2 object kind of columns, and it is showing the memory usage. Okay, this much amount of bytes it is using for this data frame. Okay, so when you are doing the info, it is going to give us the whole information like this. Okay, and as this is one of the important thing, non-null count. Okay, non-null count is very important when you load a data frame. Okay, so let me load a data frame which has the null values. Okay, which has the null values. One second. So this is video game sales related data which I have. So dot read CSV. So CSV. Okay. Now video game sales executed. Now you can see here there is written as NaN. Okay, if it is written as NaN, that means it is a null value. Okay, in here the terms NaN means not a number. Okay, not a number, or simply you can consider it as null value. Okay, it's a null value. So for this one, let's see the info. Okay, let's see the info. Video game sales dot info. See here. So you can see here clearly. So non-null count. Okay. So basically the number of values here are 16719. Okay. 16719 rows are there. Okay. 16719 rows and 16 columns clearly. Okay. So here you can see 16717 non-null values. That means out of 16719 there are two null values. Okay, remaining all are non-null values. That means there is some data present. Okay, in the name column there is some data present. Okay, there is some data present. And coming to the platform, so there is 16719 non-null values. That means there is no empty value. Okay, there is no empty value present. So here you can see there are null values. Okay, here you can see there are a lot of null values. Okay, almost half of the data is not there in that particular column. Half of the rows are empty. Okay, so like this you can see if there are null values. Okay, so this is one kind of information that we are getting. So when we are doing dot info, okay, dot info, we get all this information. So any doubts till this part, anyone? Okay, fine then. Yeah. Coming to the next case. So there is one more function that I am going to show you. Students data dot describe. Students data dot describe. So when you are doing this, you have roll number, Python, statistics, machine learning, and deep learning. So here you are getting the information only about the numerical columns. Okay, only about the numerical columns. We have seen above. So this is integer kind of data type. This is integer, integer, integer. So these two are object kind of information. That means strings information. Okay. So when you are doing describe, okay, you are getting only the numerical data. So here you can see count is how many number of records are there. Okay, mean means average. Okay, average of the whole column. So of course roll number average doesn't make any sense, but it does, however it is in the number, so it is doing the average. But you can see this is the average Python marks. Okay, this is the average Python marks for the number of students that are there. Okay, so average statistics mark, average machine learning mark, and average deep learning marks. Okay, like that. And standard deviation, so minimum and maximum. Okay, so minimum and maximum, so minimum value in that particular column. Okay, minimum value for each column and a maximum value for each column. So this 25 percentile, 50 percentile, and 75 percentile, so I'll explain you this later. So in NumPy, when we are discussing NumPy, I have told you about one thing called normal distribution. Okay, so this standard deviation, or this 25%, 50%, 75%, so this part, okay, is related to that normal distribution. Okay, a bell curve. So that related information is being here, but minimum and maximum is easy to understand, but remaining all a little bit complex. So this one will be discussed later. Okay, later maybe in statistics part. Okay, but however, so you can consider this as 25th part of the data, 50 part. So 50 percentile is easy to understand, which is nothing but median. Okay, median, or yeah. So this is a median data. Okay, so but 25 percentile and 75 percentile is a little bit calculation required for that. So I'll explain you later how to calculate it now. Okay, so here we are getting, when we are doing the describe method, so we are getting uh, only the information about only the numerical columns, not about the strings. Okay, strings columns. Okay, so if you want to get strings column also, okay, if you want to get the strings related information also, what you can do is students data dot describe, you can include, okay, include object, or one second, so yeah, include object, include, yeah, so include is equal to all, so let's do include is equal to all, so that even first name and last name also are there. So when we are including even the strings, so there is three other things that is happening. Okay, so unique, top, and frequency. So how many number of unique values are there? Okay, how many number of unique values are there in that particular column? That's the information. So all the seven names are unique. Coming to the last name, there are only four unique values, because if you look at the data, we have A, B, C, D and A, B, C. So that means it is repeated. So unique values are A, B, C, D, only four. Only four. So for other things, there is no such unique values information. Okay, because they are numerical kind of information. And coming to the top is basically nothing but what is the top value it is considering. So it is considering as alphabetical wise considering. Okay, so Ashok is the first top value it is, and coming to this one, A is the top value. Okay, and then coming to the case of frequency, it is telling, so like how many times, okay, how many times each value is repeated, and how many times that particular how many times maximum frequency was set, like that. Okay, two times values are repeated. Okay, so that's what the information about this. Okay, so like this we are getting the information about numerical columns as well as the string columns, or we can say categorical columns. Okay, so if we are confused about strings column, you can say it as categorical data. So there are two kinds of data, numerical data and categorical data. Okay, so from this we are getting whole information. Okay, and if there is no information, then it is represented as NaN. Okay, NaN, not a number or null values. Okay, these are empty values. So any doubts in this function, describe function window? Okay, fine. So till now we have seen describe function, info, okay, and we have seen shape, type, and length. Okay, now let's focus on empty values, null values. Okay, null values information. How clear we can see the empty values information. Okay, so we don't have empty values in students data. So let's take this video game sales data and we'll work out on that. Okay, so coming to video game sales. Okay, so there is one function called is null. Okay, is null. So basically is null is nothing but it tells whether that particular value is empty or not. Okay, empty or not. So you can see here there is true. If at all a particular value in a record is mentioning true, then those are all null values. Okay, if it is mentioning true, then those all are null values. If it is false, then that means there is some value. Okay, there is some value in that particular record. Okay, so if it is mentioning true, then it is called as it is having null value. Okay, it is having a null value. And similarly, same kind of similar function. Hmm. So video game sales dot is NA. Okay, so both gives the same output, is NA and is null. Okay, is NA and is null both gives the same output. Okay, so clearly it is mentioning here. Okay, so true. Okay, if there is a null value, it mentions true. If it is not a null value, then it is false. Okay, like that. Okay. Now let's for both is NA or is null, anything you can take. So I will continue with is null thing. Okay. So for this is null thing, okay, if for the is null function you can do dot sum. So when you are doing dot sum, so it is going to calculate how many number of null values are present. Okay, how many number of null values are present in this particular column. So in the name column you can see there are two null values. Okay, in platform there are 0 null values. In the year of release there are 269, like that. So critic score there is 8582, critic count 8582, user score 6704. So like that, for every column how many number of null values are present. Okay, it is going to show us how many number of null values are present in each column. Okay, so that is how it is going to work. Okay, that is how it is going to show us. So representing of dot sum. Okay, representing of dot sum. Got it. Okay. And coming to the next case, video game sales dot listener dot in. So, yeah. So coming to this one, if you are putting any instead of some function, if you are putting any, that is representing if at all at least minimum one null value, if at all one null value is also there, so that means it is going to show you that column is having null value. It is representing true. So true means that particular column has null value. False represents there is no null value. So here you can say, so platform, NA sales, EU sales, JP sales, other sales, global sales. So these columns doesn't have any empty value. Okay, these columns doesn't have any empty value. Remaining all other columns have empty values. Okay, so platform, EU sales, sales related information, and platform. So all these columns doesn't have any null values. So remaining all columns have null values. Okay, that's how we are getting the info. Okay, that's how we are getting the info here. Okay. So any doubts till this part? Is null dot any. So for is NA also you can do the same thing. Is NA dot any, is NA dot sum. Okay, for both you can do the same kind of thing to understand how many null values are there in each column. Okay. Yeah. So any doubts till this part? Okay. Yeah. So that is about null values information. Okay, null values information. So we have retrieved a lot of information. So using describe, info, null values, okay, is null, is NA, all that. Okay. Now the next thing is that yes, for a particular column. So that's what, right? So for every column here we are showing. Okay. So for a particular column, if you want to see, you can just need to call that column. So I'll tell you how to call a column. Okay, how to call a particular column. I'll show you, and from there we can see how we can call for every column. Okay. I'll let you know that. Okay, so coming to the next thing, yeah. Display any number of records. So when you are displaying your data, okay, video game sales. So you're getting information like all the records are being displayed. Okay, all the records 16,709 records are being displayed. Okay, of course in middle it is hiding, so we can change that also. I'll show you that later. Okay, but if you want to see like a specific amount of records, okay, a specific number of records that you want to see. Okay, there is one function called video game sales dot head. Okay, video game sales dot head. So when I'm saying dot head, it is going to show me the first 5 records. Okay, the first 5 records by default. Okay, by default when you are calling dot head function, it is going to show us top 5 records. Okay, and similarly, but if you wanted to see like let's say first 20 records or first 30 records, okay, then you can mention head of 20. So it is going to show us first 20 records. Okay, first 20 records information it is going to show. Okay, all the first 20 records information. So you can mention any number inside it. Okay, you can mention any number inside it. So 12 records. Okay, top 12 records. Okay, first 12 records. When I'm saying head of 12, that means first only. Okay, from the starting. So if I say 50 records, it is going to show me all the 50 records. Okay, all the 50 records information it is going to show. Okay, so you can mention any number inside it and it is going to represent that, it is going to show us that information. Okay, it is going to show us that information. Okay, and let me just fix this. So this is going this is generally hiding. Okay, this is generally hiding the information, but let's do one thing. So there is one option called pd dot set option. So for set options, there is something called display dot max columns. Display dot max underscore columns display dot. So okay, so I'm going to display 20,000 records. Okay, so execute. Okay. So options. Oh, sorry. I'm mentioning columns, right? So I need to mention rows. Yep. Okay. So all the 500 rows will be displayed. Okay. So this one mistake. Yeah. So all the 500 rows will be displayed clearly here. Okay. So whatever the number of records that you are mentioning, it is going to display all the number of records. Okay. So here I have I am showing 5,000 records. Okay, 5,000 records. So there won't be hiding. Okay. So you can just do pd.set option and then you can say display maximum rows. How many number of rows that you want to show. Okay. So let me put none. This one. So if you are putting none, that represents till the end. Okay, till the end it is going to display. Okay. So coming to our actual function head. So head represents by default, head represents first 5 records. Okay, by default head displays first 5 records. Okay, first 5 records. So if you want more number of records, you can just mention the number there. Okay, you can just mention the number here. So 20 records. Okay, so you can mention the number here. Like that. So this is for displaying the first 5 records or first 10 records or first 100 records, like that. Okay, so it is from the start. Okay, it is from the starting. And coming to the next case, you want to display the like there is one more function. So one is head, one is tail. Okay, so head and tail. So the next one will be tail. So this one, video game sales dot tail. Okay, so by default it is going to show us last 5 records. Okay, so tail displays last 5 records. Okay, last 5 records by default. Okay, so this is what it is going to show. But if you want to see another number of records, so you can mention video game sales dot tail of, so you can mention the number of records that you want. Okay, so I want 90 records, so it is going to show you last 90 records. Okay, last 90 records. So it is starting from, sorry, so it is starting from 16,629. Okay, 16,629, and it is ending at 16,718. Okay, so last 90 records it is showing here. Okay, so like that you can mention any number for head and tail. Okay, like that you can mention any number for head and tail. So this is showing like these two things, like head and tail are showing like from the start or from the bottom. Okay, but if you wanted to see any record in the middle, okay, if you wanted to see any record in the middle, but what if I want to see any record random? Okay, any record random. So for this case, okay, for this case, what we can do is, there is one function called log, which is nothing but location. Okay, which is nothing but location. So basically it takes this serial numbers this side. Okay, the index numbers which are on the left hand side. So whatever the index numbers that are there, you can just mention that index number, so it will be like displaying that index number. Okay, so let's say video game sales dot loc. Okay, you just need to call that loc function. Okay, for loc you have to put a square bracket. Okay, because it's like indexing, guys. Okay, it's like indexing, so we are just getting the particular index number. Okay, so index number could be anything. Okay, now here there are numbers. Okay, here there are numbers 16,629, 16,630, like that there are numbers. But in some data you might have names also. For indexes I can put names also, I can put anything for the serial numbers. Okay, so it's a kind of indexing, but not exactly indexing, but kind of indexing. You can just call that particular index name and you can put it in the log, say 90. So this is the 90th record information. Okay, 90th record information. Okay, so this is only a single value. Okay, this is only a single value, but it is not representing in the format of a data frame. Okay, it is just clearly like representing as just name, like a dictionary items kind of thing. Okay, but it's generally we call this as a series. Okay, series information it is showing, but it's not representing in the format of a data frame or a table. Okay, so if you wanted to see the same thing in the format of a data frame, so you just need to mention 90 and then you can put colon 90. So simply nothing but I am just calling that particular column. Okay, and it is showing me the format of a table. Okay, it is just showing me in the format of a tip. Or let me show you what if you put 90 colon 91. So generally indexing in indexing, what happens, like if you are mentioning till the last value, it brings till last but one value. So if I am putting 90 colon 91, so if it is indexing, it prints only 90th value. But here if I am putting 90 colon 91, it prints both the values. Okay, 90 colon 91. As I told you, this is kind of indexing, not exactly indexing. Okay, this is a kind of indexing. So you can just mention the index names, okay, the serial number names, okay, whatever they are present. So it is going to put here. Okay, you can just put those and you can get the records. So here I am getting 90th record and 91st record. Okay, but what if you want something like so you want 47th record, you want some 1000th record, okay, you want some 10,000 record, randomly you want to pick some random data. Okay, so for that case, uh, so display random columns. I will say multiple random columns. So to do this, we can use the same LOC, okay, but you have to put numbers inside. Okay, so let's say 47, 90, 51, okay, 1000, okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6, some number, some record. Okay, so sorry, you have to put it inside another list. So you can see here, so I'm just giving whatever the whatever the records that I want. Okay, I'm giving those index numbers. Okay, I'm giving those index numbers and I'm displaying those. Okay, I'm displaying those. That is the usage of lock. Okay, location is a function where you can mention whatever the record numbers that you want, it will display. Okay, so now you can understand the difference. Head means it is going to give you from the start. Okay, by default it will give top 5 values. Tail means it is going to give you bottom 5 values. Okay, and coming to the log, it will give you whatever the index number, whatever the serial number or the serial number name you are mentioning here. So it is going to give those records. Okay, those records. See, if the data is sequential in the format of a numbers like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then you can give slicing. Okay, then you can give slicing like we have given here. Okay, I can put like video game sales of 90 colon, say 100,000, 100 colon 120. So it is going to retrieve the records from 100 to 120. Okay, all those records it is going to give me. Sorry, so it is going to give me the records. Okay, the records like this. Okay, all the records it is going to give me from 100 to 120, all that records. But if you wanted to get random data, okay, if and one more thing, if your indexing is not exactly in order, okay, so let's say I'll give another names like a1, a20, a30, a40, something like that. Okay, then this kind of indexing doesn't work, this kind of representation doesn't work. Then you have to mention the clear column, sorry, clear serial numbers. Okay, whatever you want, those names you have to mention them, otherwise it is not going to retrieve. Okay, so for example, let me change the index names. So video sales. So to see the index, you can just sorry, you can just execute it. So the indexes are nothing but it is starting from 0 and it is stopping at 16719. Okay, 16719. So I can change the index. Okay, when you are clicking dot index, it is going to show us whatever the index names are. Okay, this is a range index with 0 to 16719 with a step of 1. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll change this. So for I in range of 0 to 16719, okay, what I'll do is I'll print let me show you a plus I. Okay, a plus a plus string of I, because I is number, so I'm converting that into string. So now this one I want to put it like this. Okay, I just wanted to put it like this. Of course this is also in order, but generally or else I can do something. I can give some different names also. Okay, but for suppose here now I'm going to change the index like this. Okay, new index is equal to list, and I'll say new index dot append of this one. Okay, so now I have new index with this. Okay, a0. So now I need to apply this index to this particular index. I need to remove that index. I need to put this index. Okay, so I'm just going to assign video game sales dot index will be this new index. Okay, execute. Now if you see, video game sales dot index has values a0 to a16718. Okay, like this. So now if I do video game sales dot log, okay, so let's do from a0 colon a100. Of course, so these are in order, it is giving me like this. Okay, these are in exact order, this is giving me. But if it is not in the order and if it is not in the order and all, so it is not going to print it. Okay, but your indexes can be like this also. Okay, your indexes can be like this also. Okay, we are changing the index into a0, a1, a2 like that. But if at all they are not in the order, then it is not going to print. Okay, so it's not going to display exactly like that. So that's what I wanted to show you. But here one more thing I have introduced. So showing the index. Okay, dot index represents the index names. Okay, whatever the index names are there, it is going to show us the index. And similarly I will show you one more thing. So video sales dot columns, so it is going to show us whatever the columns are there. Okay, whatever the columns are there, so just column names like that. And one more thing is video game sales dot keys. So remember in the dictionary we have dot keys function, same like this. Okay, so dot keys or dot columns both are same. Okay, dot keys and dot columns both are same, so it is going to represent, it is going to display whatever the columns are there. Okay, so like that. So this is the information that we can retrieve from a data frame normally. Okay, all this information that we can retrieve, and any random record if you want, you can use log. Okay, any random record inside the data if you want, you can just use that and you can display this. Okay, so like this you are getting the information. Okay, like this you are getting the information from the data. Okay, so any doubts to this part? Okay, fine then. So this is the information retrieval process from this data. Okay, so and I will also show you one more thing. So like Krishna asked, so let's see for a particular record. Okay, for a particular column how we can see the null values. Okay, so first of all, before going to that, let's see how we can access a particular column. Okay, how to access particular column. So access columns. So let's say if you wanted to access one particular column, let's say name. Okay, name is one column. So what you can do is video game sales, in the square bracket you need to mention your name, column name. Okay, it is just going to show you the information, whatever the data is there, that is going to be shown here. This is one way of calling that particular column. Okay, or else, so there is one more thing called dot name, that particular column name. Okay, that particular column name you can direct call this. Okay, so if your column name have spaces in it, this doesn't work. Okay, say for example, if you have a column name called first space name, this doesn't work. Okay, this kind of doesn't work. This, if it is like that, then it always have to use this format only, because space is separating this whole part and this whole part. Okay, if your column name is like that, then this format doesn't work to represent a column. Only this format will work. Okay, so that's why it is better to use like this. Always it is better to use like this than using it like this. Okay, so better to use it like this. Okay, so like this we can print any column. Okay, any column we want, you can mention like this and you can display that. Okay, so video game sales of, okay, what if you wanted two columns? Okay, what if you wanted two columns data? So let's say we have this EU sales. Okay, uh, one second. Yeah, so EU sales, and let's say like multiple columns, the name, platform, or name, EU sales, whatever it is. Okay, so if I wanted to print multiple columns, so let's say name, comma, let's say platform. Okay, name, comma, platform. So when you are putting multiple columns like this, it doesn't work. It only works if you are putting two brackets. Okay, more than one column. Okay, more than one column, if it is there, you have to pass in the format of a list. Okay, you have to pass in the format of a list. Okay, then only it is going to work. Okay, two columns, so it is going to show us like this. Okay, it is going to show us like this. So you can mention any number of columns. Okay, not only name, platform, you can mention any number of columns inside list of values. Okay, you can mention any columns. Okay, let me use genre. So I will add here the put comma genre. Paste it. Let it run. It is running. Yeah. So it is having three columns. Okay, so like this, inside a list of lists, you can mention any number of columns that you want. Specifically what columns you want, you can mention those columns. Okay, you can mention those columns. And even though here we have kept only a single square bracket, right, for this one also, if you are putting, so you can see the output difference. Okay, so here it is not in the table format. Okay, this output is not in the table format. Okay, but what if you put that in two brackets? If you execute it, it is going to show display in the format of a table. Okay, above it is not in the format of a table. It is not in the format of a table. Okay, format of a table means the column name should be mentioned on the top. Okay, okay, so column name should be mentioned on the top, but it is not mentioned here because it is not a data frame kind of it. But here when you are putting two brackets, then it is representing the output in the format of a data frame. Okay, that is the difference. If you want to represent it in the format of a data frame, you have to put double bracket, otherwise you have to put it in a single bracket while you are calling a single column. For two columns, mandatorily you have to put double brackets. Okay, for multiple columns, more than one, you have to put double brackets for sure. And coming to the actual question, so you can just call this particular column and you can do dot listener dot sum. It is going to show you whatever the number of columns are there for a particular column. So like that you can mention the other columns as well. Okay, so like say for the other columns, let me get the other columns. Let's say user count. So mention that column name. Okay, you're going to get a particular. remove the double bracket and execute, it will just going to show you the number of null values. Okay, so if you are putting double bracket, then it is going to show you the column name as well as the number of null values and the data type. Okay, so like that, this information. So whatever you want, you can use it. Okay, like this, you can use whatever the way that you wanted to write, you can write it. Okay, so this is the information that we have gathered from this data. Okay, so anybody have any doubts till this part? Okay then.